Hello, great people. The court has discharged 50 IPOB members that are being accused by Nigerian government of terrorism and secession. In this video, I'll be telling you what this means for Nigerian government, what it means for the people that were arraigned in court, the impact of the whole scenario on their lives, and the negative impact of this on the image of Nigeria, and how these can increase insecurity, and we'll be looking at the inefficiency of Nigerian government. We'll be looking at all these and a whole lot more on this episode of Politing with Dr. Omotosho. If you are yet to subscribe, please do well to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification button. Now let's dive into this. Government is, I think it is right when they said after God, it is government. So you want to believe that government has all the resources and government will not just act anyhow. But when a government begin to lose cases, it points to the inefficiency of the government. If you look at it, government across the world, in saint countries, they rarely lose case. When government is taking you to court, the probability that you will win that case is very less, because government would be sure that they are charging you for the right thing and they have strong evidence against you. But that of Nigeria is not the case. Government also, in Senate crimes, do not charge unnecessarily because they don't want to lose that citizenship affection. Because they know that if they charge you unjustly and you win them, you will naturally be displeased about the country. Not only you, your family, your friends, your colleagues will naturally be displeased. So, in order not to lose that citizenship affection, they don't charge unnecessarily. But Nigeria doesn't care. And that is not even something that should be of maybe too much of a concern. But what is of a concern is that Nigerian government would charge you and they don't have any evidence. And that was what happened as regards these 50 people that were charged for the T word and secession. So you want to imagine that, why would you charge somebody? And I have said it, please, Nigerian government, the way you abuse the T word, when anything, you use the T word and you are taking the people to court. No, government don't charge people for such a crime just anyhow. There are some words that government would not use. All this, treason, felony, terrorism. No, you don't charge people for it anyhow without substantial evidence that, okay, these people are truly linked to this thing. But in Nigeria, anything is treason. Anything at all, government will just go and charge you for it, even without strong evidence. So government has consistently watered down the term treason and the T word. So you want to imagine that, what is the implication of this on these people that have been released? Because we must not fail to look at the implication of this for those people and even for Nigeria. And one of such strong implication is radicalization. Radicalization in the sense that these people have been in detention. They have gained contact with different kind of criminals in detention. So that means that there's a high probability that they would have been indoctrinated into a criminal network. So if they are not into anything that is wrong and you arraign them in court and the court has now freed them, don't forget that in the course of that their arraignment, if they are entrepreneurs, especially all these one-man entrepreneurship business, the business would have gone down the drain. Don't forget that if they are working for government, if they are civil servant, automatically they will be sacked. If they are working in a private institution, because of the level of crime that government is prosecuting them for, which is the T word, definitely the private institution will have sacked them and replaced them with another person. So that means that most of them now, they don't have a life. They don't have a life. Their imprisonment, arraignment have affected their life. And the truth is that some of them will not think that I've not done anything wrong. You imprison me, you charge me for terrorism, and now that I am free and the court has freed me, then I go collect. And what you need to bring destabilization is just one person. If these 50 people now, if they decide to go into criminality, the person that will give Nigeria a headache is just one person. It took an Osama to give US headache, just one person. One. It took this Boko Haram guy, Abubakar Shekau, to indoctrinate other people and be giving Nigeria headache. So what am I trying to say? When you pick people unjustly as a country, when you lock them behind bars for long as a country, you see that radicalization that you are running from, you will now go and land in that radicalization. In other words, you are arraigning anybody arraignable to put fear on people so that there won't be any kind of secession, so that the people won't be indoctrinated into secessionist agenda. But then when you are doing it wrongly, those people will come, some of them will come out, and because they don't have a life again, as I've analyzed earlier, they'll go and embrace criminality. And when they embrace that criminality, they will become a problem to you, Nigeria. So that problem that you are running away from, and you are trying to take the shortcut, rather than bring about justice, equity, and fairness to the ethnic groups that constitute Nigeria, you decide to take the shortcut and be intimidating, harassing, imprisoning, arraigning people. The implication of that is that that which you are running from, that you are taking the shortcut, you will end up coming to land in that thing. And the implication of you may think that, well, it doesn't concern me. I'm a Yoruba man. Maybe you are an Hausa man. Maybe the other person is an Ijo man, an Edo man. You may think this doesn't affect you. My brother and sister, it affects you greatly, because there's what we call migration of criminality. For instance, the Boko Haram guys, when the military, when they fire them seriously, some of them began to migrate towards the west. And some of these bandits in Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, when they faced the heat there, some of them were migrating towards Nigeria. And some are already in Nigeria and have turned Nigeria to their home and are thriving in Nigeria at the moment, to the failure of the Buhari government, which is being furthered by the Tinubu government. So there's something we call migration of criminality. So if you think it doesn't affect you, it affects you greatly, because that criminality, it will definitely migrate. It may take time, it may take years, but it may migrate to your doorstep. Another implication is that all these things, whether it is arrest, whether it is arraignment, and if these people end up being radicalized and they become a problem to Nigeria, all these would be the issues will be addressed with taxpayers' money. So you may think you are not a federal government worker, but on everything you do, there's a value-added tax, which still goes to the government. So these things will be addressed with taxpayers' money. In other words, those people were arrested. Their arrest, the ammunitions and every other thing, paying the police, the DSS, taxpayers' money. Arraigning them in court, federal government prosecutors are being, paid with taxpayers' money. At the end of the day, God forbid, if these people become radicalized, government will have to still tackle that radicalization with taxpayers' money. So in other words, there will be less money for infrastructural development. There will be less money to provide amenities and tackle other issues in the society. And that is one of the serious implications of, government not acting right, or government trying to take the shortcut. And if I can dwell more on this, you see, it has strong implication on the credibility of the security agencies. The world is a global village. For instance, now the federal government is seeking the extradition of Simon Ekpa, and if you look at the IPOB cases, most of them have either dragged on for long for political reasons, or government has not been getting favorable judgment. That alone is a boost for Simon Ekpa. Nigeria, you see, the people in government, they don't seem to understand some basic things. You know, if you are accusing Simon Ekpa of doing the wrong thing, and some of his alleged disciples in Nigeria that you are taking to court, you have not been able to get judgment against them. So how do you say specifically that these people have been doing the wrong thing when the right place to take them to is the court, and you have taken them to the court, and the court is freeing them, that you have no evidence against them, and there's no, they don't deserve to be in prison, especially for those kind of offenses that, if, for instance, now, if by one miracle or abracadabra, these 50 people that the court freed, if they have been convicted, do you know what their fine will be? Life imprisonment or death by hanging or firing squad. So when you try to seek such order of court to detain perpetually or to execute, you must be sure that you have strong evidence. And now that Nigerian government does not have evidence, indirectly, they are strengthening the case of Simon Ekpa in Finland, because these are some of the things that Ekpa can eventually use against Nigerian government. And that brings me to the image of Nigeria itself. You see, the world is a global village, and some of these foreign prosecutors, they don't need to come to Nigeria. Some of them will just do like a web research. They'll do a research around the web as regards IPOB activities in Nigeria. You know, they will look at different sectors, in the sense that police action on IPOB, judicial pronouncement on IPOB, they will have their own researcher. For instance, in Finland, they'll begin to do research, and that is why May 2025 was set as the trial date. Some of you don't understand why May 25 was set as the trial date for the trial of Simon Ekpa. You see, Nigerian government would have presented this argument over time, and the lawyers of Simon Ekpa will now say, for the interest of fairness and justice, we did not know that you will pick up our client. We did not know that you will arraign him, but you have been having interaction with Nigerian government. It is only fair that you also give us time to articulate the defense of our client. And this is not something that will take 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because what Simon Ekpa is being charged for, the T word, is a very serious offense. So they would ask for time, and the court will ask them that, okay, in the spirit of fairness, how long time do you need to articulate a strong defense for your client in such a way that you would have provided everything humanly possible for you to prove his case beyond reasonable doubt? If they ask for 5 months, 6 months, the court has no choice than to grant it, because Nigeria government is prepared. Why Simon Ekpa, it happened to him all of a sudden, is not prepared. So they cannot just go ahead with the case like that. They need to give Simon Ekpa time. But if it were to be in other climes, they won't even give him such grace. And when I read in the news that they said the trial will commence in May 2025, I wasn't surprised, despite the fact that the Finnish government already have their own evidence intact. The Nigerian government would have supplied them evidence and will be collaborating with them. But Simon Ekpa, he doesn't have any major strong articulated evidence. And that is why the Finnish government are choosing to give him time. What I can say is that Nigerian government, as you are tackling people that are using the name of IPOB to perpetrate criminality in the Southeast, which I totally align with, don't fail to look at the aspect of justice, equity, and fairness. Be fair to the Igbos, so that when some of these people are preaching secession, radicalization, the people will not believe in it. But the problem is that what the Igbo people, some of these IPOB guys, what they are saying, the innocent Igbos that don't have anything against Nigeria, they are seeing the justification, they are seeing the argument, they are seeing the reality in some of the things that these IPOB people are saying in terms of marginalization, injustice, and inequality. So address it rightly, so that people can begin to believe in Nigeria as a country, and that will greatly reduce the impact of IPOB and people's subscription to their ideals and ideology. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politing with Dr. Omotosho. Dr. Deji is a political scientist with a PhD in political science. Do want to subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos, and of course I have great videos coming your way. Till I see you again, I love you all sincerely.